Hi there. I'm
Cyborg Wizpig. It's kind of a neat idea. It's kind of inspired from what they did to Grunty in Banjo-Tooie when she comes back as a skeleton. It's a way for the main villain to still be alive and still survive and get her or his revenge. So why not do it for the main villain of Diddy Kong Racing? Banjo-Kazooie was being made during the same time as Diddy Kong Racing, and both games have a lot of connections with one another. So this is a way to bring Wizpig back in like a really cool way. Instead of him just appearing the same way he already did, which you could do, and that would still be cool, honestly. I wouldn't think it's that boring. But why not, spice it up a little bit? This way Wizpig is more of a threat than he ever was even before. And maybe you could even have the game take place on a different island instead of Timber's Island. Next we have the stages that I would have included in a potential Diddy Kong Racing 2. So there's actually 3 stages from the original Diddy Kong Racing that you could bring back that the racers never got to race in altogether. These are really 3 of the boss battle stages. Blubber the Octopus's stage was never got to be raced on by all the racers. Just include that in Diddy Kong Racing 2. Why not? It's a level that's fully complete. You don't have to do any more work, so it's perfect. Also include the level where you face off against Smokey the Dragon. Why not? Again, the level's fully complete, just include it. And also include a Wizpig's first race battle. That would be cool, right? Also include Wizpig's second race battle, if you want. Next, my idea is to include some created levels from Banjo-Kazooie and turn them into Diddy Kong Racing racetracks. Some ROM hackers have made certain stages like this. I did see a ROM hack where a fan created a playable racetrack of Mad Monster Mansion from Banjo-Kazooie. That is effing amazing to see. But I would love it if someone put that on a cartridge and we could all play it on our N64s. And also, I don't understand why other fans aren't making ROM hacks for more playable levels of Banjo-Kazooie and Diddy Kong Racing. The only one that's ever been made so far has just been Mad Monster Mansion. Where's all the rest of the levels? So, definitely include Mad Monster Mansion. My other idea is to include a racetrack for Click Clock Wood. It would have been pretty neat, and you can drive, on the sides of the tree all the way to the top and all the way to the bottom and stuff. Wouldn't that be neat? Also include Gobi's Valley, or Gobi's Desert, Gobi's Valley. Include that as a playable racetrack. And it's perfect because racetracks like Click Clock Wood and Gobi's Valley, you have a lot of the assets from the original game that you can reuse and just make a track out of them, a fan track. Not only that, but you can just reuse the track themes for the levels. That amazing Gobi's Valley music, just include that as the music in the background. It's perfect. Next, I would have included the windmill level from Conker 12 Tales, or it was also featured in Conker's Bad Fur Day, but I would prefer to see the original version of it that we never got to see from 12 Tales. In the scenario, Bad Fur Day would have came out in the year 2000 anyway, so it would be better to just be able to play the original version of the windmill world in Diddy Kong Racing 2. So it could have been basically just taken the assets from that original build of the windmill and give us at least one of the levels we could at least race around in. Not as a platformer, but at least a racer. Next, from Banjo-Kazooie, I would have included Spiral Mountain as a playable racetrack. How badass would that have been? Basically just race around, and then you go swivel up the spiral, right? Then you could race on the bridge all the way into Grunty's mouth. And then my idea is that once you get in there, you see Cheeto, the book, flopping around, but you drive past him, you drive up that hill where the note door is, and then you just change it up where there's an entrance, and the entrance takes you down this path and makes its way back onto the grass below where Banjo's house is. And you just go in that circle over and over again. Next, we have a couple of levels that I would have loved to see from Donkey Kong 64 as playable racetracks in Diddy Kong Racing 2. How about Jungle Japes, right? The first level in DK64. Turn that into a racetrack. Or how about Crystal Caves? That would have been a neat level to see all the racers race around in. Really cool stuff. Also, I would have included Creepy Castle, which is probably the best level in Donkey Kong 64. Very creative. It's just totally classic. And it's also a castle that you would see in like a Crash Bandicoot game. Makes sense, it's from the same era, campy, but classic and amazing. Include Creepy Castle as a playable racetrack. Now, I currently do not have the skills to make my own ROM hack of a N64 game or whatever. This is a message for anyone who's watching this video. If you're a fan of Diddy Kong Racing and my ideas, just take all my ideas. I really wouldn't give a shit. I would just be happy just to see this come true, have a bigger roster for Diddy Kong Racing, and just include characters from the N64 window of time of Rareware in Diddy Kong Racing 2. Like that golden era of Rareware, early 90s, late 90s, maybe 2000, 2001 if you wish, but just stuff like that. And these are my ideas for the racetracks and Cyborg Wizpig. Maybe a fan can create this if they like my idea. Maybe create a cutscene with Cyborg Wizpig. I mean, I don't know how hard this would be to make, but I would just be satisfied if there was just like 11 levels. It doesn't have to be like super complicated, or it doesn't even have to have a hub world. If this was just something you could play on the N64 with the same graphics and the same assets, then I think it would be mind-blowing to see. Because at this point in history, the only way we can ever get a Diddy Kong Racing 2 is if the fans make it. Because, fucking Microsoft, Satan themselves, they stole that dream away from us. So anyway, these are my ideas for the fantasy game of Diddy Kong Racing 2. Cyborg Wizpig, other playable racers from Conquer, the world of Banjo. Please leave some comments. Let me know what you guys think. Please like and subscribe. My name is SuperPat98, and I will see you all again real soon.